As most schools transition to online education during the pandemic, deaf and hard of hearing students and educators at Gallaudet University are facing some challenges.
ASL is in 3D, where we have our facial expressions and body language that uses space to convey and emphasize concepts. So the online teaching and learning, ASL becomes 2D from time to time. It creates a little bit more of a struggle because students can't really see all of the facial expressions.
Not only that, the lack of online educational materials has also been a challenge for students and educators using American Sign Language. Some teachers had to make videos on their own.
It was frustrating too. The first 2 weeks of being online, I worked day and night on developing all this, over weekends too. A lot of the faculty members, educators are making their own resources because what organizations or companies that are providing these apps without captioning or no ASL, we can't access. So no, there isn't anything out there. And that's one of the things that we're struggling with right now.
Deaf and hard of hearing children are also in desperate need for ASL educational materials. Head of Gallaudet University's Digital Education Lab, Melissa Malskoon, is also parent of a deaf child. She finds the English caption on most apps too complicated for her 7-year-old son.
And so my deaf son has to ask me what the apps say. And so then I will read the captioning and sign it to him. So we really have to develop more resources for deaf children that are presented in American Sign Language, fully accessible to the young deaf emergent reader. So that has become more and more apparent to me in this pandemic, that there's a huge gap.
Malskoon and her team developed a new free storybook app, providing bilingual storytelling and arts and crafts activities for younger children. 1,500 families have signed up in the past 2 months. However, on-campus experiences and interactions with teachers and peers are crucial for deaf and hard of hearing students, especially for those whose hearing parents don't know how to sign. They are at risk of being isolated and losing motivations to learn.
Hearing children have immediate access to information, whereas very often deaf children don't, not surrounded and inundated by information and resources. But if we're able to work together to create something for deaf children, then we're able to make up for the lack of resources that they experience.
On Boston University's online platform, Deaf Education Library, educators have shared over 600 videos for early childhood to high school education, all in ASL. However, for students and educators in this unprecedented time, there is still a lot more to be done.
I think this will help us understand what it means to have an online learning experience. And especially my view for younger children. Wow, they are so resilient. And I think that digital learning should be just one of many options that they have. That they get support they have access to, but that's not their main approach to learning.
Kelly Yu for VOA News, Washington, D.C.